Okay, for today, we're looking at one of the craziest Yonko in One Piece, and yes, that's SHFiguarts Marshall D, aka Blackbeard, and this box is pretty heavy. Anyway, this figure is a jaw-dropping $173. Yes, that's insane! But the real question is, does this beast actually live up to that price, or did Bandai just rob us blind? Are you guys ready to find out? Because I am! Alright, quick look at the box. Front has the usual clean SHFiguarts style with a big window showing Blackbeard inside. Side and back, classic Bandai promo shots of the figure, some poses, close-ups of the details. Nothing too flashy, but it gets the job done. Overall, solid packaging keeps the figure safe and definitely shelf-friendly. Now let's crack this baby open! First off, the details on this figure are absolutely insane. Let's start with the face. I think Bandai nailed Teach's evil grin and those crafty teeth. The parrot hat, spot on, very colorful, fits his chaotic energy perfectly. Now, my personal favorite, his belly. Yeah, you heard me right. His stomach has this hairy line detail sculpted in, and honestly, it makes the figure feel way more alive. Creepy but amazing. Then we've got his outfit. The inner clock is adjustable. The outer clock is this fabric-like pom-pom texture with wire inside, so you can pose it however you want. That's actually one of the coolest things here. And can we talk about his hand? All those rings, they are sculpted so sharp, it almost feels like they should sparkle under the light. Honestly, Bandai didn't just make a figure, they made fashion Blackbeard. Now, here's where things get a little questionable. For $173, you expect Blackbeard to come with like a mountain of accessories, right? Well, not. What you do get is 2 extra faceplates. This is the first faceplate, and this is the second faceplate. That's it. Only 2 faceplates. 3 pistols that attach to his body. 3 pairs of hands. This one is the first one. Oh my god, I love the ring details. And this one is the second hand. This one is the third hand. A stand base. And a bonus faceplate for Luffy Gear 5. That's it. This is it. Like, come on, Bandai, with that price, you could have at least thrown in an extra barrel of sake or maybe Burgi's head, something. 2 faceplate for Blackbeard? That feels a bit stingy. Let me know in the comment section, guys. Do you think that's cheap or am I just salty? Alright, let's break down the articulations because this is where things get interesting. Starting with the head and neck, you've got a solid joint. It tilts side by side nicely and can rotate, left and right, not all around. Not crazy expressive, but enough to give him that classic evil glare. Moving on to the shoulders, but first, take this off. Okay, the shoulders use the standard SHFiguarts hinge with a butterfly joints inside. This means his arm can rotate smoothly and you also get some inward movement for more natural poses. Honestly, it's soft, flexible, and way smoother than I expected for such a bulky character. Now, the torso, there's an upper chest joint and lower waist swivel. Together, they allow decent twisting. The elasticity here feels good. He doesn't feel stiff at all. But here's the catch. Just like Kaido, there's no deep forward crunch, so no dramatic hunched over plotting pose for Teach. Okay, the pirate hat is very flimsy. Moving to the legs, the hips use hinge and swivel combo. You can get basic spreads or rotation, but don't expect full splits. Knees bend really well enough to standing poses, though still limited for action crouches. Again, fair for a big Yonko, but definitely not Spider-Man level. So compared to other SHFiguarts One Piece figure, Blackbeard's articulation sits right in the middle. Way better than Kaido's brick-like body, but not nearly as free as Luffy or Sanji. It's a balance between bulk and playability. Now let's line him up with some other One Piece figures. First, Kaido. Blackbeard is like Kaido smaller, slightly more manageable cousins. Kaido is huge, heavy, and honestly feels like lifting a dumbbell. Blackbeard, still big, but way easier to pose. Both share the problem of not being able to bend forward, but Kaido feels like a brick while Blackbeard is more playable. Next to Luffy Gear 5, the contrast is hilarious. Luffy is bright, cartoonish, and all about the energy, while Blackbeard is just chaos wrapped in clocks, guns, and rings. Together, they look awesome, and that bonus Gear 5 faceplate makes perfect sense here. And then we've got Shanks. Shanks is clean, calm, and classy. Blackbeard is messy, flashy, and loud. Side by side, it's like putting minimalism next to a carnival. But honestly, it works because it reflects their personality perfectly. Okay, no Kaido here because I just put him in the box. Overall, Blackbeard doesn't blend in. He stands out. If you're building your Yonko shelf, he brings that chaotic energy no other figure has. Let's kick it off with the first pose, starting very easy, and ta-da! Swapping the hand is super smooth, the joints feels really solid. I'm not even using the stand base because the legs are surprisingly sturdy, or if you do need the stand base, it works fine too since balancing can be tricky. So far so good. Now on to the second pose. Second pose, alright, I bend the body forward a bit to make it look like an action shot. Kinda look like a combat stance, right? This one's a little tricky to pull off, but you know, it still works and actually looks pretty cool. What do you guys think? Okay, let's move on to the third pose. Now we are in the third pose. This one is a bit a challenge. Teach kept falling over, so I had to use the stand base. And even then, he took a few dives before finally balancing like this. Swapping the faceplate though, super easy. And next up, pose number 4. Fourth pose, okay, this one's definitely tougher to pull off since the leg articulation is kind of limited. And yeah, he keeps falling over again and again. But honestly, I'm still having a blast posing Teach like this. Fifth pose, finally not as tough as the last two. This one's actually pretty easy to pull off. Man, this SHFiguarts is awesome. You can really get a bunch of dynamic poses out of it as long as you use that stand base. But for this pose, I'm not using a stand base because the leg's articulation is sturdy. Sixth pose, oh my god, this one's beyond my expectations. The leg articulation is actually better than I thought. Even if it does look a bit flimsy, still the pose turned out pretty solid. Okay, final pose. This one is pretty easy to set up, but it still takes some tweaking to make it look realistic, like he's actually, throwing a punch. And there we go, 7 poses done. Okay guys, that's it for today's video. Oh my god, I'm a little disappointed because of the accessories. With that price, $173, I expect more than 2 face plate. So I'll give the score 8.5 out of 10. Yes, 8.5 out of 10. That's still pretty generous, baby. You can like and subscribe, especially if you are into anime figure review and unboxing. And if you love toys photography, follow me on Instagram, Madam Chip, and see you on the next video. Bye bye!